Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing my lovely client Amber's nails. My girl still had her Valentine's Day nails, so we had to give her a nice little switch. She is going to Disney, so we're going to be switching out her design from red and white designs into a very fun Disney design, which was so cute and I absolutely loved the turnout. Now starting off for the process, I am using my Efile at a speed of about 9,000 RPMs. Do note that the not polished Efile is very strong, so if you don't feel comfortable using it at a higher speed, always put it down just a smidge. I am using this safety carbide bit. I'm not quite sure where it's from, but I'll try to find a similar one and link that down below for y'all. But it works so good. I want to say it's a coarse carbide bit. All my 5-in-1 bits are already really old and need to be replaced. And in the meantime, while I wait for my order to get in, this was my next best option and I really like it. So I'll definitely be sure to link one down below for y'all. I'm going to be using my Efile and just filing down her current design along with the acrylic that she has. I always try to just fully remove that and then we can go in with a new acrylic. It's what I like to call a backfill, but a lot of people just call it a rebalance because you're pretty much rebalancing the acrylic that she already has on her nail. And so I'm pretty much just going to continue to do this process very carefully. You want to make sure you are not staying in one section of the nail for too long, otherwise it will cause a heat spike. And during this process of removal, I'm also focusing on any lifted areas she may have. Now do note that I'm not wearing gloves, y'all, and it felt so weird. I ran out. I have since then purchased some, but it was the weirdest thing. I know in the beginning of my YouTube days, I used to never use gloves. And now that I started using them, 10 out of 10 recommend. They will protect your hands. I promise you, they are worth it. I know sometimes it feels a little bit weird, but we gotta protect our skin from all the chemicals that we are exposing them to. Next, I'm going to be prepping her natural nail by simply taking a small mandrel bit from Kiara Sky. And then the sanding band is in medium grit, also from Kiara Sky. We have now moved our Efile down to a speed of about 3,000 RPMs. Typically, I like to do 4,000 and I always recommend 4,000. But because of the amount of speed that this Efile has, I always knock it down to 3 just to be safe. I'm going to be pushing back her cuticle area with this bit as well. I try to just do that all in one motion, but if you feel a little bit more comfortable and the need to do so, definitely go ahead and implement that, and you would push back that cuticle with a cuticle pusher and then go in with this process. I'm simply focusing on the area that is outgrown, which is exposing the natural nail, and I'm going to be buffing off that shine while also finishing the removal process of the lifted areas that she may have. You can always nip them off as well if it is nice and thin, but I just prefer to try to do the majority of it with my bits.
Mi amor es blanco y fiel.
Next, I'm going to be taking a diamond bit. This one is a very, very small tapered one. And I'm going to go back in right in that cuticle area to fully remove that dead skin from her natural nail. This is going to help all the products adhere, just cleaning off that surface so that it is nice and etched and everything grabs onto there nicely. Very quickly, I'm going to be taking my hand file of choice. Mine is always Tammy Taylor Peel and Stick files, and I'm going to be going ahead and fully filing that tip. I tried to just thin it out just a smidge more than what I was able to do with my e-file, and I'm just going to quickly refile, reshape, trim them down if she wants me to trim them down. And then, of course, always rounding down that tip. She does get a beautiful almond shape, which I love on her shape of her hands. They just suit her so nicely. So I've been definitely excited to do this shape on her. I'm pretty much just thinning out those sides, as once it grows out, you do see the thickness of the natural nail portion start kind of growing out. So you want to just make sure you reshape it to your liking and to the liking of your client, of course. Once I'm done with all the filing process, I'm going to go ahead and take a lint-free wipe and a little bit of young nail swipe. And we're going to fully remove that excess dust while also dehydrating her natural nail. You can always implement a dehydrator after this step as well. But we're just going to go right in with the Kiara Sky Primer. This one is the acrylic primer. It has a gel-like consistency, so do note that. I'm going to go ahead and apply that very carefully. I'm trying to not get it on her skin. Since it is super thick, I feel like it really is easy to just smudge all over her skin, and I'm trying to avoid that. So very carefully, just focusing on those areas that the natural nail is exposed to. And then we're going to go ahead and start our acrylic application. Now for our acrylic application, I'm using the Sculptor Like It's Hot brush in a size 12 from Profiles Backstage. It is one of my go-tos. I like to use this brush for acrylic fills and smaller nails. As you can see, I don't need a huge brush to do this process. I am using the colored acrylic from Not Polish in Light Sand. It is such a really pretty light peachy pink nude, and I feel like it's going to be the perfect match for her skin tone along with the design that we're going to do. And for those of you that may be wondering, my monomer is from Kiara Sky. I'm going to go ahead and start my application by just taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic, placing that near the cuticle area, but we're still going to leave a smidge of area exposed so that I can go in with a small bead. I'm still trying to add a little bit of structure even though her nails are short. Do note that the apex doesn't have to be dramatic since they are shorter nails, and there's a pretty good nail bed on her hand already, so I don't have to worry about that. But for the purpose of the strength and the length and just the nail itself, I'm going to go ahead and just add a smidge of thickness near that apex. So I like to do 2 beads, sometimes 3 depending on the length. And girl, if you need to do 4 or 5, definitely do so, as long as you are making that structure of the nail perfect in your liking. And of course, always remember to take in mind the length of the nail. So medium-sized bead, I either place it halfway through the nail or a little bit up higher, depending on how big the nail is, of course. And then I just simply start patting it out. If you have your perfect liquid to powder ratio, this process should be pretty seamlessly and easy. So if you are struggling with it running over the sides, it being too wet, always try to go back and focus on your liquid to powder ratio. That's going to be the biggest game changer. As you can see, I'm just kind of patting it into place, swiping the sides to make sure that the shape doesn't get all thick. And it pretty much does its work on its own. All I'm doing is guiding it into the area that I need it and patting out any little imperfections to get it nice and smooth. Next, I'm going to be taking a small bead, placing that near the cuticle area. Always remember to hold the finger in a downward position, and then you push it up gently near the cuticle area, and gravity will do its thing and pull it downwards. So then you just have to blend it out very, very, very light pressure when doing that. You don't want to do really big swipes. All you're doing is gently blending and pulling the product down. Once everything is nicely applied and we are ready to file, always make sure you check that. Sometimes I have most definitely not, and it is not fun. You end up filing way too much and you have to go back in and apply it. So make sure you give it a nice little tap, and once it makes a clicking noise of your acrylics, you should be good to go. I'm going to be taking my hand file first and filing those sides, the tip of it, making sure that the shape is nice and crisp. And then we're going to go in and file the rest of the nail. Once we're done filing the nails, I'm going to be taking a sponge buffer. This one is from Profiles Backstage. We're just going to be buffing off that nail, making sure everything is nice and smooth for our nail art application. Very quickly taking a lint wipe and a little bit of young nail swipe. We're just going to cleanse the surface of that nail, removing all those excess dust and prep for our nail art. Now for the nail art application, I am using a bunch of different brushes from Veeda Bella. If y'all haven't checked out our website, definitely do so. And if you're interested or wanting to purchase new brushes, definitely recommend them. Use discount code VEE to save a little bit of money. All of our brushes do come dual-sided, so you get 2 lengths in one. We have our micro detail brush, our short liner, long liner, and oopsie brush. And they are all really good quality. Not to toot my own horn, but we were really picky with our brushes and I'm so proud of them. So again, if you're interested or are looking for new brushes, definitely check out our website. Now for all of the colors that we are using throughout this nail art set, I will leave everything linked down below. I'm using yellow, red, black, white for this hand. And then we're using some pastels on the other hand since we are doing mixed match nails. I'm going to be doing Frenchies as our base and then adding on top of that. I'm again using short liner, long liner, and then the micro detail brush for some of the smaller details. Now, next I'm going to be taking my oopsie brush and we're just going to be doing a little bit of cleanup and then switching over to the hand. Always remember to cure whenever you feel it is necessary. If it has to be one by one, go ahead and do so. If it gives you peace of mind, cure it in the light. I always try to do fully one hand of my base nail art, cure that in the light, and then I work on the opposite hand while that is curing. Of course, depending on the color or the style of design. If we're doing some blooming gel design, then I would go ahead and do one by one, or maybe sometimes even two nails and then cure in the light quickly. But you want to give it a full 60-second cure so that nothing wrinkles, especially when you're working with darker colors or thicker colors such as gel art or even some gel polishes. For this one, we're going to be taking one of the liner brushes and I'm going to be doing some stripes, pretty much doing like a checkered design. And I think these nails turned out so freaking cute. So first I started off with our vertical lines and now I'm just adding in the horizontal ones, trying to space them out as even as possible. And for reference, this one is our long liner. Again, remember to cure when you feel it is necessary. As many of you may know, or if you're newer to my channel, I don't own a dotting tool. This is just one of those tools that I feel like is easily replaceable with tools you already have. They're very inexpensive, but your girl got rid of hers a while ago because I think one of them broke and I still have yet to replace them. I'm just working with what I got. And today's tool of choice is the back end of one of my bits and it worked pretty good. So we're going to be doing some little Mickey heads on that index finger. And again, curing it in the light whenever you feel it is necessary. Here we're going to be adding some very easy to create cow print. I think these are always so cute. Some love, some hate, but I think it is the cutest design ever. Something about it, just the contrast between the white, the black, but even if you do it in different colors, I think cow print is just so adorable. I'm just going to be adding my little splotches of color in no specific order. I'm kind of just throwing it on there, wiggling my brush a little bit out, and then I kind of can go back and add a little bit more if I feel like one needs to be bigger or I need to extend a certain part of it. And then again, cure in the light whenever you feel it is necessary. Once we're done with all the tiny little details, I'm going to go in with my top coat of choice. For her nails, I always do the stain resistant top coat from Young Nails. If y'all have another stain resistant top coat, let me know your recommendations down below. I have nothing against this one. I just feel like I want to venture out and test a few different ones. So let your girl know. I'm going to be adding a thin layer of that. And then we're going to be curing it in the light for a full 60 seconds. Do note that it has a tacky layer, so don't forget to remove it like I always forget. I went ahead and took off the tacky layer with a lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe. You can always use alcohol as well. Added some cuticle oil on there, and that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton, and I'll see you guys next time.